Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. Now, what is the job as the general manager? It is exactly that. No matter where you are, whether you're managing a store, a car dealership, doesn't matter, a basketball team, a football team, you're an office manager, what exactly are your duties as a GM? Your job is to manage the unit and to do what's in the best interest of the unit. So Sean Marks, his job is to manage this unit. How do I do that? I got to put the best group of players together with the best coach that I can find as efficiently as possible, financially, and win. And I do take input. I do listen to outside sources. And when I say outside sources, I mean people that are next to me. I don't listen to the media too much. No, I don't do that. But the people that are inside this office, the people that are inside the organization, I take input from them, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it is my decision. This is what I'm paid to do. I'm paid to manage this unit. I'm paid to bring in guys. I'm paid to trade guys. I'm paid to sign guys. I'm paid to cut guys. And to put the best product on the floor and be successful, to run a successful business. I say that to say this hasn't worked out that way. And the reason why it hasn't worked out that way is because Marks hasn't done his job like a general manager should. Don't get me wrong. I take input from other people. But at the end of the day, I'm the boss. I answer to two people. I answer to the vice president and I answer to the dude who signs the checks. That's it. I don't answer to anybody else. Every other decision moving forward is mine and mine only. So when Kevin Durant says, I'm going to come to Brooklyn, but I'm going to come to Brooklyn on one condition. If Kyrie Irving comes to Brooklyn. Okay, we'll make that happen. Because I like this mix between you and him. It sounds like a good idea. Now remember, every boss, I don't care what level that we're at, from the president of the United States to the general manager of the Department of Airports, everybody has one person that they don't do everything that that person says, but when that person talks, they listen. And I think that there was somebody who said to Sean Marks, you might want to think about this for a second. I'm not saying that it's a terrible idea, but you might want to think about this mix of guys that you're considering bringing in here. You get a guy like Kyrie Irving who forced his way out of Boston, who forced his way out of Cleveland, and it didn't go very well in Boston. It went okay, but it wasn't great. And Danny Ainge just let him walk out the front door for nothing. And now you got a guy in Kevin Durant who's paper-thin skin coming here to Brooklyn. And these two personalities, not just their games, but both their personalities coming together. Is this a home run? Can you manage these two personalities? Because remember, as a general manager, that is also your job. To manage these guys. It's not just to put the best product on the floor. It's also to manage these guys. Kyrie Irving is aloof. Kyrie Irving is problematic. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, not so much. Kevin Durant is very business. Kevin Durant is very much about his business. I play basketball. This is what I do. Kyrie Irving is the live wire, though. Can these two guys mesh together? There's somebody that's on Sean Marks' staff that's saying that to him. And that somebody isn't the person that he listens to. It's just somebody in the meeting going, I don't think this is a good idea. I really don't like these, but I'm trying to keep my job, so I'm going to keep this to myself. So he puts these two guys together. And we already know that the first year was a wash. KD was hurt. Kyrie Irving gets hurt and only plays 20 games. So right from the beginning, even though Brooklyn makes the playoffs, so you didn't do a terrible job, you actually have a ray of hope. This thing may work because we made the playoffs. Once we get these two guys in the fold, it's going to be even better. So you get those two guys in the fold. You hire Steve Nash. And in the process of hiring Steve Nash, your live wire says, quote, "We don't really need a coach." Here we go. We're back to the logic of the live wire again. The guy who goes off the rails, he's the one that's different. KD is the one who falls in line when he has to. But this live wire over here is the one that goes off the rails. And that's the one who, don't get me wrong, you have to have guys like that to keep things interesting. But are we going to win with this guy? I don't know. So you get a guy in Steve Nash who's a new coach. And what's the logic? We don't need a coach. We can manage ourselves. Now that chatter that was in the office starting to get a little bit louder. Maybe we should consider not trading anybody, but maybe we gotta start thinking more about making moves going forward. And you, as the general manager, have to be more in tune with that, and you have to be more conscious of that. But you put this thing together for these guys to win now, and James Harden becomes available. And these two guys run to you. Go get him. We need him. He's going to be the difference in what we're doing. Are you sure? Because again, there's that voice that's in the meeting going, here's a guy who doesn't take care of his body. His play is inconsistent, particularly in the postseason. And now we want to bring him into the fold of what we're already doing that's not very good. That's very up and down. And we want to bring that in here. There's somebody in the office that's now saying, we have to start thinking about this. And I don't mean think about this and let's do it, but more like, wait a minute. I don't know how good of an idea this is. I don't. But again, I hired the coach that you wanted. You two guys got together. Not only did I hire the coach that you wanted, you two guys got together, and I also caved and brought in James Harden. And what happened? This thing went the other way, and it went widely the other way. And why did it go the other way? It went the other way because I wasn't really doing my job. I was not doing my job. Because if I was doing my job, I would have done what was in the best interest of this group. And what wasn't in the best interest of this group was listening to you guys. They didn't hire you to be the GM. They hired you as players. They hired me to run things. And I haven't been doing a good job at that. In fact, what I've been doing is letting you guys run things. And it's ultimately going to cost me my job. So, this year, this thing goes completely the other way. James Harden asks out, you trade him, and you bring in a slew of other guys, and you get a couple of your first round picks back because of moving for James Harden from Houston. You end up getting a couple of your first round picks back. But this thing goes the other way. Now, not only does it go the other way, you get swept out of the playoffs, and you know how I feel about getting swept out of the playoffs. I don't care what round is it, whether it's the first round or it's the NBA Finals. If you get swept out of the playoffs, you're not close to winning it. You're not. Doesn't make a difference when it is. So you guys get swept out of the playoffs. It's obvious that whatever we're doing here, this is not working. And it's not going to work. Now, is it not going to work because of the mix of players that we have? Or is it not going to work because I'm not doing my job? Because there's a difference. We may have the right mix of players, but I'm not doing my job. I'm listening to this one and this one and this one instead of doing my job. So we get into this particular situation where we get swept out of the playoffs, and in the process of us getting swept out of the playoffs, Kevin Durant now says, I want to be traded. So the question that I have for you is, as the general manager, do you trade him? Because what I remember, and I already mentioned this, in 2007, Kobe Bryant wanted out. Kobe Bryant demanded to be traded. He wanted out. I no longer want anything to do with this. We aren't going anywhere. You guys aren't doing anything for me, and I'm going to waste the rest of my prime here. Mitch Kupchak said, nope. You aren't going anywhere, sir. Give me a minute and let me figure this out. Does Marks have that in him to tell Kevin Durant, nope, I'm not trading you? Absolutely not. You're going to sit here and you're going to let me figure this thing out. You committed to 4 years. And by the way, in the process of him committing to 4 years, he doesn't have a player option. It's a 4-year deal. You committed to 4 years. Let me figure this thing out. I'm going to get this thing right. I'm going to do my job. Or does he just deal KD and go, all right, you want out? You can go. That's the $1 million question. Because I think that this thing has just gone haywire, where we're at a point where you're getting swept out of the playoffs. It's obvious that whatever plan we have, it is scrapped. Because we are doing this thing all wrong. We're not doing it sort of, kind of, or mostly. This thing is all the way wrong. We're not close to where we need to be. Not close. So the question is does Marks salvage this by trading Kevin Durant and getting back picks and players and trading away Kyrie Irving and getting whatever he can get for him and building this thing around Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons has always wanted to be a franchise player anyway. You know, we get wrapped up in the idea of Ben Simmons not playing for 16 months and what had happened in Philadelphia, his last playoff series, where he wasn't terrible. He just didn't shoot at the end. I thought he did a good job defensively. I mean, he was 16-8, made the All-NBA team, made the All-Star team, was an All-League defender. So, he wasn't terrible, but he did want to be the man. So, do you do that? Are you prepared to do that? Or are you just prepared to tell Kevin Durant, I'm not trading you? Nope. Give me a minute, let me figure this out. And I'm taking no more input from you guys. I'm going to do my job now. That's the question that needs to be answered here. What is Marks prepared to do? Because as of right now, he hasn't done a good job as a general manager, and he may very well be getting fired. That may very well be the case. And there's a slew of offers. We already know who the teams that are out. Golden State is out. Number one, I don't think that they want KD back. Number two, they can't trade for Wiggins. And they can't trade for Wiggins because the NBA has a clause in their collective bargaining agreement that two guys with 5-year deals can't be on the same team. So that eliminates Wiggins. That eliminates Bam, too. And there's no deal in Miami. There's no deal with Miami unless Bam is a part of the deal. So Miami is out. So Miami is out. Golden State is out. Book just signed a 5-year extension, and he's also out because he's on a 5-year deal. So what does Phoenix have to give to Brooklyn? So these are a number of different teams that could trade for Kevin Durant. But here's the thing. I'm thinking picks and players are going to come from Kevin Durant. You get whatever you can get for Kyrie Irving because as of right now, even though as talented as he is, his stock is low. His stock is low, so whatever you could get for him, you get it. Which is why he opted in. That helps you. That helps you because whatever team that is interested in trading for him, you're going to get a long-term commitment from him. Now the question is what team is interested in committing to him long-term? He's going to force his way to Los Angeles? You think that James wants anything to do with Kyrie Irving? After what happened last season with Anthony Davis missing half the season, with Russell Westbrook, his play being up and down, we want to add Kyrie Irving to this mix. He's going to take years off my life, man. He's going to take some years off my life, and I can't handle it. I don't think James wants anything to do with this whatsoever. Same thing with KD. So this thing is going to get interesting, more interesting than it already is, and I'm all for it. So I'm going to be around as long as you guys want me to. It's good to see you, and I'll see you soon. But until then, take it light, but take it.